Hey, welcome back. So, you guys know what this means. Well, normally it means I'm going to paint something. But in this case, kind of like when you go to the bathroom and your food comes out at the restaurant, pulled the paint gun out and, let's just show you what happened. Getting ready to paint. Started smoothing out some stuff so I can throw some epoxy sealer on this thing. And wouldn't you know it, had a little wavy spot back here and another little wavy spot. And I put some edge primer on all this. This was bare metal, but started finding holes. That's the vinyl top holes. So I started following that around, and most of these were kind of filled in with some sketchy work. In fact, you can see one solvent popping right there. And then I started seeing that this went up another inch, had a real bulbous flare to it that these cars normally don't have. And then you can look down here and see that this is offset a little bit, and I don't know what that is. So what had happened was somebody took a arch panel or part of a quarter and cut it, and they welded it. And I deep dove in here trying to see how deep this really was. And I don't know if you can see how deep that is, but that's filler. And I've taken about this thickness off the top of this. So this was well rounded back there. And I mean, I like my girls curvy, but that's a little ridiculous. And then you get the pieces like that where I didn't really touch too much, and it's just deeper down stuff. Looks like, I don't know, they kind of welded and then grinded, but set this panel over the other panel. So I've been debating since last night on what to do. The door gaps are off, as you can see. 3/16 goes down to an 1/8, and then we got contact down here. So I don't know what's going on with this car. Doors lined up and straightish. It's got problems. This thing has definitely been in the basket case since I got it. I already knew that I needed a rocker. I tried to piece this rocker together with, scraps I had from the other side, which kind of worked but didn't really. And then, lo and behold, you start wire wheeling and you find somebody took some screen mesh and just sprayed some body filler over that. So that all had to come out. So I got a rocker. Should be here momentarily. And I did splurge and get the Belden Speed Rust Replace. I don't know what their name is now, which one they're using. Little channels for in here. This is my vent, or my vent. Yeah, it's a vent now. My, good Lord, windshield channel is just, Bluetooth. So cut most of that out, and I'm going to keep working my way around and replacing those pieces. I was hoping to get this thing in epoxy so it's at least stable for a little while till I figure out what paint I'm using, what paint system. Am I doing Rust-Oleum? Am I doing some single stage urethane or enamel? Or I didn't realize how many options there are available and how expensive it was. And the more research I do, the more I want to do Rust-Oleum because it's $50 a can, but I don't know. Why don't you let me know what your opinions are? I feel like I got kicked in the nuts with this one. So all the rest I keep chasing everywhere. I'm at that. I'm getting tired of body work. Are you happy? Have you stubbed your toe yet? I hope you do. You might be wondering why I did the torch method versus just sanding it off. Well, you can see where I did the torch method. It kind of stays in chunks, and where I didn't, it turns into, not so much in chunks. It's hard for me to clean when I blow all that stuff out and it gets everywhere, and then it's in the air. And it takes me like 4 times of mopping the floor and kids dragging in the house, all that kind of stuff. So my setup, I end up doing that stuff a lot more, even if it takes longer, because it's a little bit cleaner. Thought I'd show both methods. So I still got a lot of part in the center here to go, but I'm just getting angry with whoever did this. I hope they stubbed their toe. The cut here, I didn't get in there. That's cut. I don't know why all that was necessary. So obviously they patched this panel in, but let me take you off this mount. But when you get to the part they obviously saved, well, why'd you save that? That's not any good at all. And then they're saving on stuff that's hammered and just crap. And then why leave holes in it? If that was your screw to hold it together, this must have been a quick job. Holes here. I just laid this over and kind of tried to weld it. I think the welder was like, nope. And, just put an inch of body filler on there. It'll look smooth. So that's fun. Well, here's the panel. Somewhat fit on there. Trim the back left a little bit so I can slide this over the meat that's already there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to remove that and so there's less meat on the potato. Trying to decide if I want to use this front lip or not. Seeing most guys when they do this, they cut back an inch, which I marked it, and I may still do that. Haven't decided yet, but I marked an inch back right here, and that'll probably allow me not to mess with my, that factory virgin gap over there. I don't like how these quarters skins, they include the part of the rocker that it goes over. So they're, I guess, designing it so you just slap it on top of some other metal, which I don't like that. I already did that. I already had to fix that. Don't like it. But anywho, they try to break this so it comes right up against the top lip right here. Mine's a little bit short, or it just needs to be stretched out some. I haven't decided yet. But the main thing that I wanted out of this panel was to keep this curve here and to keep this style line there, because that was completely ruined with what he did up there. So you can see that's a nice clean style line. I'm hoping that if I can get this and just zip my way in there, I can make it blend, cut that out. It just gets real close to that style line right there. I'm wishing that style line was lower or had more meat in there to work with, but it is what it is. You can see a little better right there. So that's going to get cut somewhere in there. I want my cuts, when I do cut this panel, I want them to be exact. So I'm going to cut through both of them at the same time. And then I can just, put those little booty clamps on there for booty welding, or butt welding as some guys call it. And should be lined up pretty perfect. I pulled off, all 7 layers in the bottom where, you can see them all here, where a guy just, laid a quarter panel on top of a quarter panel, and then that rusted out, so then he put a quarter panel on it, and then, at the end of all that, you had a panel and a half, and that was a lot of stacked up metal. And probably saw a little earlier, I kind of went a little crazy like I always do when I see some things that I just can't not fix. So up in the wheel wells, it had that, I don't even know what you call it. It's like a undercoating, but it's almost like concrete. So whatever that was, I got most of that out of there. Not that it's going to hurt anything to be there. Probably would last another 50 years, but all of these things that I'm pulling off literally in shop vac 5-gallon bucketfuls is 20 pounds, 10 pounds, 5 pounds. Even if it's a pound every time, that adds up. And eventually you got a car that's 100 pounds lighter than the guy next to you. So little bits here and there help. Paint technology's come a long way. The stuff that I sprayed for the undercoating sound deadening video that I did, if you watch back, that was a nice, real thick coating. And I think something like that might actually work. Doesn't necessarily have to be the microsphere balls, but even some sand in there would give it some substance to hold and coat. So we'll see what that entails. Found a little bit more rust in the bottom of the outer wheel well in the back. So before everything gets permanently welded in there, I'm going to have to patch that up. But we're getting there. You guys have never got the Goodmark Quarter Skins. I recommend not doing it. They don't fit too bad. As you see, I only, out of the box, I really only had one. You can barely see it. Little ding right there, but I'm going to pop that out. The biggest issue I had, let me take you over to the flat panel. The other one's just sitting here. Biggest issue I had was these. So that's gouges in the metal, which, I mean, it's not a big deal, really. But right there, right here, and all these corners here, because of the way it was sitting in there and folding like an accordion all the time, these are all bent their way out. So I'm sure the shape is off just a little bit, as I'm dealing with over there already. I didn't have too many dents in it. But this is what they give you, a box. Now you might say, hey, look, there's some bubble wrap in there. Well, I'm not going to take them off and put them back in here, but you had one panel laid in there, and the other panel was laid on top of that. And then the bubble wrap was just kind of like, hey, here's some bubble wrap too, in case you need some. 2 pieces of metal that are supposed to be fairly, fragile and intricate in their design shapes, and you don't want it to bend, are just, doing like you and your girlfriend on prom night. So can't have that happening. So that's going to wrap up this video. I've got it pretty much fitted, and I'm going to go not do this anymore, and I'm going to try this again tomorrow. Thanks for watching this video, and if you're watching to figure out how to do your quarter panels, I don't know, but keep watching because I'll figure it out and then I'll show you. Also, like and subscribe, please. All of those little subscriptions help me. I'm trying to get up to 500 subscribers so I can open my merch store. So tell your friends, hit the little like or the subscribe button if you haven't. Tell your friends to hit it. Just, just helps the guy out. Anyway, see you tomorrow.